Here we go. Sugar and hormone health. You are in the right place if you want to know how and why sugar can be our biggest roadblock to having healthy hormones and what you can do about it. If you're here with me live and you stay on till the end, I'm going to send you a 3-day sugar-free meal plan with 3 breakfasts, 3 lunches, 3 dinners, and 6 snacks, all sugar-free, as well as a little bit of information in there about eating sugar-free for hormones. Okay, so make sure that you are sticking with me till the end so that you can get the special code that I'm going to give you that you're going to drop in the comments in order to access this. All right, so thank you all. And here we go. I want you to head over to the comment section right now if you haven't already, to introduce yourselves or to say hi, but I want you to type yes, okay, if any of this relates to you. You experience mood swings, fatigue, irregular or painful periods, you have widespread body pain, aches and pains in your joints and muscles, anxiety, acne, hot flashes, bloating, thinning or excessive hair growth, or intense cravings. I want you to type yes if you have spent most of your life or a very long time thinking that the way you feel is pretty normal, and it just comes with the territory of being a woman. And I want you to type yes a third time if you are tired of suffering through those monthly symptoms and you want some real validation and answers for what you're experiencing. I'm here to provide you with that. So a little bit about me for those of you who are new to the group, new to my webinars, or don't know anything about me. Welcome. My name is Jen Jodwin. I'm an advanced holistic nutritionist. I specifically help women balance their hormones by addressing underlying imbalances through diet and lifestyle. Okay, so I'm very passionate about helping women regain control over their bodies by helping to restore those underlying imbalances. And I actually help those women integrate healthy living into the whole family. I'm a mom, okay? I have a 4.5-year-old. I know that if it's not easy, it's not happening. I know that. I get it. I respect it. Don't worry. I got you, okay? The whole family, not just you. And I do that through a motto that I actually live and coach by, which is 1 bite at a time. I have a really strong belief in the healing power of food. Last week, I shared quite a bit about my story, my own health journey. And tonight, we're going to extend that journey a little bit further. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about it. But in that process of my health journey, I really did discover the healing power of food. I discovered how the foods I used to eat were hurting my body and increasing the severity and frequency of the types of symptoms that I was experiencing. Okay. And it was honestly, like, it was horrible. I hated the way that I was living. I hated the way my body looked. I hated the way it felt. And I hated feeling trapped in my body, feeling like I would always be battling this genetic predisposition that I have to be imbalanced. Okay. When I learned that food has healing properties, that food truly is fuel for our body, I learned that that can really empower me to feeling great. And it didn't happen overnight. I'm not going to lie. It was not like this transformation like that. It wasn't. It was through 1 bite at a time. I took 1 bite intentionally every time I ate to heal my body. And that's exactly what I live and coach by with all of my clients, is making sure that you take that big goal and you break it down into very simple, small steps, small meals, small actions, small intentions, 1 bite at a time. And you take that on, because when you do it that way, you can totally achieve anything. All right. Now, I'm also a sales coordinator with the Juice Plus company. I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about the Juice Plus products later on and how they can support you in this process in the same way that I did last week. I also have a bachelor's degree in psychology that focused really heavily on human physical and psychological development. Why is this important? Because I understand how our body and our minds are interlinked and how they're connected, and how our body requires this fuel for us to look and feel good and to actually feel healthy. Okay. But I also, last week, if you missed it, I dove into how I'm very, very geeky. I'm very nerdy at times. I really love science. I love numbers. I like manipulating numbers and data and concepts. So in my psychology degree, I also studied a lot of statistics, as well as psychometrics, which is the study of creating, reading, and analyzing scientific studies. Okay. So I went all the way up to level 3 statistics, including tutoring it in university. Yes, I'm definitely a numbers girl. Okay. um, so I have a really strong understanding of what good research looks like and and how to read the results of that research. And the reason that's important is because the information that I share with you tonight, and anytime I'm doing a live video or I'm putting up a post, all of that is based on real research, information that is true and valid, that you can take to heart and to life and feel safe about. Okay. Now, starting from last week. Okay, last week I shared with you my journey to getting my diagnosis of fibromyalgia, polycystic ovary syndrome, and endometriosis. And it was a really long journey, right? It was over 15 years long. I've been fortunate enough that in that process, I did hit rock bottom in the process. I hit the point of no return, and it's been a blessing in disguise because I've now been 3+ years, sorry, managing my symptoms through diet and lifestyle successfully, and not having to rely on, taking all that medication that was just really honestly making me feel worse, or just hiding symptoms and making others. And I didn't feel like myself. Okay. So the thing is, though, is that after I got all those diagnoses, it didn't solve anything. It was great knowing that my issues had been validated and that what was going on had a name and was recognized by doctors. I mean, instead of just them telling me to go home and take a Tylenol, which was happening, right? Um, and so it was great to have all that validation, but it didn't solve anything because the only options that were medically available to me was medical menopause. And I was 29 at the time, and that just wasn't, it just wasn't an option for me. I'm done having children, but I just wasn't ready to accept that type of treatment. I just wasn't ready to accept that in my body. So I turned that down, and that's when I really dove down into the research and the doing what it takes to manage my body. Okay. But at that time, I was still struggling with extreme abdominal pain between my periods, during my periods, really intense mood swings, extreme fatigue where I had trouble getting out of bed, or I could sleep, 10, 12, 14 hours and still not feel rested. I had insatiable cravings. I could eat and eat and eat and eat and never feel like I was full or fueled or satisfied, which obviously was increasing my weight because I was just overeating and increasing how much I was actually putting into my body without, balancing that with that extra exercise as well, right? And I was still making monthly trips to the hospital. So in that process, like I learned that it's not normal. Okay. Despite seeing so many doctors and despite being told that it's not normal for us to feel like that. It's common, which is why it's considered normal, but it's not normal. Our bodies are this incredible, well-oiled machine that when fueled properly, they work amazing, amazing. Like they just do these incredible things. Okay. But unfortunately, hormone imbalances affect 8 out of 10 women worldwide. And this list is pretty big, but it's not inclusive. But these are some of the most common symptoms that are experienced by women with hormone imbalances. So I'm sure looking at this list, there's probably a couple that stick out to you that you could think, or you could say, yeah, I experienced these at some point in my life, and they were, they interfered with my ability to enjoy myself, or to feel confident, or to feel comfortable, or to be able to go out and have like a normal life, right? Depending on how severe these symptoms were for you or are for you. So it's not normal for you to feel like this. That what these symptoms indicate, symptoms are your body's way of screaming at you that something inside is going wrong, or something inside is not the way that it should be, because we shouldn't feel like that. We should feel really good. Should have energy. We should be able to maintain our weight effectively. We should be able to eat and not feel cravings, and we should be able to have a healthy sex drive, and all of these things. We should have happy moods, or at least be able to have stable moods where we can manage the emotions that come on. So I'm sure looking at this, some of this sticks out to you, and if it doesn't, that's okay. This information is 8 out of 10 women, that means at some point in your life, you might experience some of these. Okay. So maybe the information doesn't apply to you right now. It could in the future. The thing is our bodies are attacked by over 10,000 different toxins every single day. That's through our food, our water, the paint on our walls, our skin care, like our hygiene products, our makeup, even our menstrual products. They contain such harmful chemicals that go against, like our most sensitive skin. And our skin absorbs everything that touches it. So, just being aware that our body is constantly being attacked by these toxins, and we're going to talk about toxins in a couple of weeks. But the gist of it is that these toxins do affect our hormones. They do affect our body's ability to regulate hormones, and they do attack our cells to damage them on a long-term basis. So, right now you might not be experiencing these types of symptoms, and I pray for you that you never do. But the chances are, knowing that 8 out of 10 women do experience this, you may at some point be looking at a small list of your own. Okay. So the information is helpful no matter where you're at. Now, I knew at that time that I'd have to do it alone because I wasn't getting the support from the medical team that I needed, or at the very least, I had exhausted all of the options they could give to me, that they could provide to me. So I started doing things month to month. I was tracking my cycles. I was tracking my symptoms. I was tracking my sleep. I was tracking my habits. I was tracking my nutrition. I was learning and reading and digging into the research. And I was making correlations between all of that, all of what was happening in my body, all of what was in the research. And I was making changes based on that. And it took it took 4 to 6 months for me to really fine tune the process. Okay. And to actually be able to say, like, I live really good now. I don't feel those feelings. I don't have those symptoms anymore. But that was a process. Okay. And in that process, I learned, I figured out what foods and lifestyle habits influence hormones. And I figured out what ones specifically triggered me and my symptoms, and which ones are most likely to trigger other women based on the way that we live our lives. So I found a way to manage those symptoms and actually feel amazing. Everything was really different. I felt so much better. I started to actually systematically lose weight. Like, it was just consistent. Now, if I put on extra weight, I know that I can just like snap it off like that, because I know what my body needs in order to do that. I've cleared up my skin. I've improved my moods, decreased my period pains, which is a really big deal because I used to spend like 48 hours crawled on the couch in a ball, just bawling my eyes out, or I'd be in the hospital from just pain overload. Okay. Now I'm in control of my body, and I've actually ditched those sugar cravings. Once in a while they'll creep in a little bit if I haven't maybe treated my body right, or I haven't done enough to support it. But it feels pretty good to not be dying for chocolate all the time. So I learned that our hormones work best within the right ratio of other hormones. This is something that I talked about last week, actually. So if you want to learn more about that, just make sure you hop over to the search bar, type in how to eat for hormone health. You'll see last week's webinar, and you can dive into that information right there. I also learned that sugar is a serious concern when it comes to healthy hormones, and that there's actually a safe way to consume sugar. The thing is what we define sugar as is different. Okay. We're going to get into that here with you. But my goal for you tonight is just to understand how sugar influences our hormones so that you can make informed decisions about your diet, so that you know whether or not you're putting something hurtful or healing, healthy into your body. And you can make that educated decision about it. And you can be aware of why your body might be craving it, and so a few things you can do to counteract it. Okay. So are you ready? Go to the chat box, type in ready, because we are going to do this. We're going to dive into that. Type ready, and here we go. All right. What is sugar? Let's start with that, because I think we all have a very big misconception about what sugar really is. Okay. In its basic form, sugar is the main energy source for our body, our brain, our organs, our muscles, and all processes that happen in the body. So, do you think it's important? Yeah. Yes, our body needs sugar. It absolutely needs sugar. Well, then why are we so scared of it, right? Why is sugar such a bad thing? Well, first of all, we've been taught to fear carbohydrates. We've been taught to fear sugar. We've been taught to increase our proteins. We've been taught to eat a lot of fat. Maybe you've been taught to do a low carb diet. Maybe you've been taught to do the Atkins or keto, or avoid your carbohydrates or anything like that. Okay. So that's why we're scared of it. It's been a marketing ploy. Okay. But the thing, and so is there any validity to that fear though? Right? That's the question. Are we right to fear sugar? Or should we be afraid of it? Should we be afraid of carbohydrates? Should we be afraid of eating too much, or allowing it to consume our day? Okay. Well, the short answer is absolutely. Yeah. Yes, 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 and yes. There is validity to this fear. Absolutely. But the reason for that is because there are two types of sugar. There are good sugars and there are bad sugars. So we're going to dive a little bit into the bad sugars first, because I want you to really understand what these are doing to your body when you consume them. Now, a bad sugar is a refined sugar. It's a refined carbohydrate. Okay. So sugars at their basic source come from a carbohydrate, and our body requires that for fuel. Okay. Now, a refined sugar means that it's individual molecules of sugar. And what happens is our body can actually rapidly absorb those individual molecules so that we can consume and use that energy quickly and efficiently. Okay. The problem is it's such a rapid absorption that it destabilizes our blood sugar levels, and our blood sugar levels tend to drop often. And this will cause low energy levels. This will increase your food cravings, because what happens, our body kind of enters into this fight or flight state, okay, where it's in a survival mode, because we've had this increase in blood sugar levels, this increase of energy, okay? And then what happens is that our body burns through it and it rapidly drops, and our body thinks, oh my gosh, I don't have enough fuel. I need to counteract that. I need something that's going to bring those levels back up very quickly so that I have energy and I'm good to go. Okay. Think back to like caveman days when it was a necessity, like life or death. In order for you to be able to live, you needed energy on the spot, right? Most of us don't live in a life or death situation anymore on a long-term basis. Most of us don't. And so it's not necessary for us to have those rapid rises and fall or drops in our sugar levels. Okay. So what happens though is when we've dropped, our body instinctually says, okay, we need to bring that back up. And so you instinctively crave something that's going to do that rapidly. And that tends to be a refined sugar or a refined carbohydrate, things like donuts, bagels, white bread, white pasta, sugar in your coffee or in your tea, and sweets, juice even. All of these are harmful sugars. They are the bad types of sugar. They're not only, throwing off those insulin levels, and we're going to talk a little bit about blood sugars and insulin levels in a little bit here, but they're also damaging our healthy gut bacteria. So about 70 to 80% of our immune system is actually built in our gut. Our gut has now been shown by studies to be our second brain. So if we are damaging the healthy bacteria in our gut and the symptoms or the processes in our gut, we're actually influencing what's happening in our brain at the same time. That's why you tend to get more anxiety, mood swings. Brain fog is another really big one, when our body tends to be overloaded with unhealthy bacteria from a damaged gut. This increases bloating because we're not digesting efficiently, or we've got a lot of excess gases being created in our body. And it also increases the acidity in our body. Now, ideally, we want an alkaline environment within our body. We don't want acid. Acid is actually what promotes the growth of things like cancer, long-term illnesses, and disease, and it damages our cells very rapidly, okay? So what that looks like is that these harmful sugars actually attack our cells in our body, and they cause oxidative stress and they cause inflammation. Now, oxidative stress is linked to poor health. Here you can see each human cell, the DNA is hit about 10,000 times a day by mutagenic oxidants, okay? Now, so you can understand that, okay, because that's written by a doctor here, okay? Now, so you can understand that. What that means is that every day we have 10,000 different attacks on the cells in our body. And these attacks actually damage the cells, okay? So last week I shared a little bit about oxidative stress, and I'll share it with you again here very briefly. But basically, if you took an apple and you cut it in half, and this image shows that what I'm explaining here, okay? You cut it in half and you leave it on the counter. That cut open apple is going to begin to brown. It rusts basically, right? It starts to shrivel, go dry, changes color. It's not as fresh, it's not crisp, it's dying. That is called oxidative stress. That is the effects of oxygen damaging the cells of that apple, okay? Now, if we applied lemon juice to that cut apple and we left it on the counter, it doesn't actually age as rapidly. It doesn't have as much oxidative stress, which is really, really cool, because what this lemon juice does is it provides a defense mechanism called an antioxidant. So it envelops around each cell within that apple or within our body and protects it from that oxidative stress. Now, oxidative stress is linked to systemic inflammation within the body. So if you're feeling a lot of body pain, aches and muscles in your joints, aches in your muscles and your joints, or you've got some skin issues going on. It's another really great example. Oh, gut issues. If you've got any of that going on, those are generally symptoms of inflammation. If you have really high or strong periods, that's another indication you could have systemic inflammation going on. And what that means is that the cells in your body are not as strong as they could be. Okay? You don't have enough antioxidants in your diet circulating in your body in order to support those 10,000 attacks every single day, right? Now, also last week, I did share more about how our DNA is protected and altered, activated by having the right diet and increasing the level of antioxidants in our body, meaning that you could have, like, all your DNA is encoded when you're conceived. You can't change what your DNA says, but you can change which genes are actually turned on or turned off by having high levels of plant-based nutrition in your diet. This is something we touched on last week very deeply, so you can go ahead and watch last week's webinar if you missed it. That was really, really interesting. Actually, it's really cool. Now, so that's what all those bad sugars are doing, those harmful sugars, right? Let's have a look at the good ones here, okay? The good sugars are complex sugar molecules. They're complex carbohydrates, meaning that they contain a fiber or a starch. And what happens in this process is so basically they're like chains of sugar molecules, okay? When we consume that, it takes our body some time to break those chains into individual molecules, which means that we have a more stabilized blood sugar level. Our food and our carbohydrate intake is absorbed steadily, and we don't have that yo-yo or that roller coaster effect of our insulin levels and our blood sugar levels, which means we are decreasing our food cravings. We're not getting that anxiety. We're supporting a healthy gut, so that like our mood is more stable, our digestive system is more stable. We're reducing body pain. And the really cool thing about our good sugars and our good carbohydrates is that they actually contain something really, really cool, okay? So you can see here on the left, this is colorful, right? We've got fruits and vegetables. We've got beans and legumes and peas, whole grains. So this is, just a whole lot of plant-based nutrition that's really, really high in carbohydrates, but the good kind, the kind that are going to help you feel good, and the ones that are going to help you be healthy internally and support that system, because they create an alkaline environment. They don't support that acidity in the body in the same way that those harmful sugars do. Now, the cool thing is that when we consume these types of foods on a regular basis, well, anytime, we have an enzymatic reaction in the body. And what that means is that our saliva and our stomach juices and all of our liquids internally react positively with the phytonutrients in our food. And those create prebiotics. And prebiotics feed probiotics. Okay, so you could be saying, oh, well, I'm okay because I take a probiotic and so I don't need to have a healthy gut. The thing is, you could be taking a probiotic, but if you're not feeding that probiotic, those good gut bacteria are not sticking around very long. Okay, so eating a wide variety and plenty of plant-based nutrition like whole grains, legumes, beans, lentils, fruits, vegetables, these provide those prebiotics that feed your probiotics. So you're actually feeding your healthy gut bacteria when you consume these. So are all sugars bad? No. In fact, you can see these ones are beautiful. They're amazing for the body. They create that alkaline environment, and having that alkaline environment actually supports antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. So what we have here are healing sugars. So before we had harmful sugars, and now we're looking at these healing kinds. They, the antioxidants in fruits and vegetables actually help to protect our cells from oxidative stress. So they wrap around our cells in our body and they prevent or slow down the oxidative process, which decreases our inflammation. It decreases our systemic stress and inflammation within the body. And we actually begin to experience this healing power within our body. So from the inside out, okay, which is amazing. So no, you do not have to cut out carbohydrates from your diet to feel great and to start having more management of the way that your body looks and feels. Now, I do want to just add a little humor in here for you guys. I basically refer to sugar in two categories. We've got the brown food category and we've got the rainbow, okay? On the one side, no good, it's just poop, okay? If you can avoid it, I encourage you to do so. And here's the really cool thing, okay? The more that we flood our bodies with the good kind, with that rainbow, we actually retrain our taste buds to crave those types of food. That's cool, right? In the same way that the more harmful sugars you eat, they encourage you to crave those kinds of sugars. Our body does the exact same thing with the healthy stuff. So the more that you incorporate the rainbow into your diet on a regular basis, you actually begin to redevelop those taste buds to crave it. And what it means is that you're going to crave that unhealthy sugar less. And eventually, there just won't be room for it in your diet because you'll have given yourself all of that really great nutrition that your body doesn't crave that rapid or immediate responsive simple carbohydrate. I hope this is all making sense for you guys so far. Because here we're going to dive into the relationship between hormones and our sugar, okay? It's all about a balance. Our hormones are intertwined very, very tight, meaning that if we have one hormone in our body that is off or different, it affects everything else in our body. Because even though we have, we've got our endocrine system, we have our reproductive system, we have our digestive system, we have all these systems. But the thing is they all rely on the proper working and the proper processes of every other system in our body. So if one system is not working correctly, this is where we run into problems because it creates this chain effect, this ripple effect throughout our body where everything starts to counteract or try to overcompensate or undercompensate for what's happening in the body. So let's start with our insulin levels because this is what's mostly related to sugar, okay? So when we consume high levels of refined sugars, this is where we get on that roller coaster of insulin and blood sugar levels, okay? So we've got those increases, those rapid drops. What happens here when we are in a constant state of that roller coaster, or we're just not having regular stable insulin levels in our body, we begin to become insulin resistant. And this is where our body it's just not responsive to the amount of insulin provided because we have too many harmful sugars in our system and we just can't keep up. And so our body begins to either overcompensate or we just can't keep up. What this does is this actually creates an internal systemic stress on the body. And so our body raises its cortisol levels because it now believes that we are in a survival mode. It believes that we have to fight or flight, literally. And so our cortisol levels, this is our stress hormone, raises. Okay. When we have elevated cortisol levels on a long-term basis, our body begins to produce more testosterone, which actually in women is converted into estrogen. Estrogen is stored in excess fat cells. So your body's going to start to retain excess fat. And that is a protection mechanism. That is in order to, what that does is basically we store excess fat in order to provide padding around all of our organs so that they are safe and secure, as well as having excess or extra fuel sources in the event that food becomes scarce. Okay, thinking back to those caveman years when this was literally a life or death situation. Okay, our body still responds that way. We don't live that way anymore, but that's how our body responds. And so we store all of this excess fat. Now, in this excess fat, we have hormones that are circulating in that. We have toxins that are circulating in that. And what's happening here is we have excess through our body. We now have these elevated levels of hormones through our body everywhere. And it's just throwing our whole system out of whack. And so the more excess fat that we're storing, the easier it is for all of these harmful toxins and excess hormones to continue to be recirculated, which means the cycle just continues, which throws off our thyroid, which changes how our insulin responds in our body, and the cycle literally continues. So the relationship between our hormones and sugar is really about a balance. It's about finding that balance in our body where all of our hormone levels are working in synchrony with the others. Okay, I'm not going to go super deep into that because that's a rabbit hole if you want to get into it. I'm going to leave it at that because I think that's a really good explanation for it. If you have questions about that, or you want to dive deeper into that, just let me know in the comments, which part of this is most sticking out to you. I know for a lot of women, insulin and thyroid is something of very deep topics of interest. So like I said, we are going to go into that again deeper in a couple of weeks from now. So I hope that's helpful for you guys so far. But I want to just, let's try something here, okay? I want you to think about, those grand lattes at Starbucks or, all of your favorite coffee places. How many grams of sugar do you think are in those? Head to the comments, leave me a number, okay? Take a wild guess. Don't go to Google. Take a wild guess. How many grams of sugar do you think are in like a grande latte? Because here's the scary thing, okay? The average one has about 40 to 50 grams of sugar. Now you're probably thinking, okay, well, what does that mean? What does 40 or 50 grams of sugar mean? On a daily basis, our body can handle about 100 grams of sugar. But that sugar includes all of our refined carbohydrates, so all of our grains, all of our lentils and beans and fruits and vegetables, okay? 100 grams, that's it. That's it. Okay, it sounds like a lot until you put that into perspective that your entire daily nutrition has an allowance, a safe allowance of 100 grams of sugar. And you can easily get half of that in a grande latte and not even the good kind, right? So can you see how even just when I say I coach by one bite at a time, it literally comes down to thinking about each of your food and it becomes an easier process. It's not like you constantly have to be thinking about it, but it's something to be aware of that, It's great to indulge once in a while and to treat yourself, but be aware that you are consuming half of your daily allowance of sugar, and it's not even the right kind when you choose to drink something like that. Okay. Same thing goes for juice. A lot of even freshly squeezed juice, like fresh orange juice or fresh juices you buy in the store, they contain 20 to 40 grams of sugar, but they missing the fiber that helps stabilize that absorption rate. So it becomes a simple sugar. Donuts, same thing. White breads, white pastas, any refined type of grain product, same thing. Okay. So it can easily add up throughout your day without even really being conscious of where it's coming from. So here I want to give you a couple of ways that you can actually kick the sugar from your diet. Okay. And it all comes down to actually starting your day off right. And the reason for that, well, I'm going to get into it a little bit, but we want to start our day off with the right choices and setting our body up for success. Because if we don't, our body enters into that survival mode where we're just going to, choose the easy option because that's what our body needs in that moment, and not what it needs on the long-term basis. Okay. So number one, we want to fast properly. We want to break our fast properly. We want to drink water, eat regularly, and stabilize blood sugar levels. Now I could tell you, probably 20 different ways to kick sugar, but these ones come down to supporting your body systemically at that cellular level. So they're not surface level suggestions. These are suggestions that actually support your body at the cellular level, because when you are craving sugar, it's that cellular level of your body craving it. So why don't we start there, right? Don't start with go eat a piece of fruit or anything like that, because yes, that works when you get into the sugar in the moment, but it doesn't work on the long-term basis. So here I'm sharing with you some very, very valuable suggestions. If you don't yet have your pen and paper, grab it now, okay? Fasting properly. Fasting allows your body time to digest food, use nutrients, detox those excess toxins, repair and heal itself, and reset hormone pathways. So you want to aim for 12 to 16 hours of fasting every day or night, okay? Basically, most of us fast overnight when we sleep, right? So what does that mean? It means stop eating after a certain time before you go to bed. Make sure that you have not eaten, 4 hours before you go to bed. When you wake up in the morning, we're going to get into what we're breaking our fast with, but when you wake up in the morning, wait a couple of 1, maybe 2 hours. Make sure you've hit a minimum of that 12 hours in order to really allow your body that opportunity to heal itself and to have that downtime and to reset itself, because that's what our body does when we sleep. That's what we sleep for. It's to regenerate. Our body regenerates all of its processes. It resets all of its systems overnight, which means every day you have the opportunity to reset your system. Now, long term, it has if you've been consuming high levels of refined sugars over a long period, a lot of damage to reset. So it's not an automatic process, but every single day gets you closer to being more healed, right? Like when we're babies, we don't go from sitting to automatically running. There's a process. We build the muscles in order to crawl and the coordination, and then we build the balance and the strength to stand up, and then we build the confidence in order to start walking, and we improve our balance, which allows us to run, and the coordination. It's the same thing in our body. Okay. So it's not an overnight process, and yet it is an overnight process. It's incredible. I just can't stress enough how amazing our bodies are. Okay. You only have one for life. Oh my gosh, treat it like gold. Honestly, you only have the one for life. Now, here's how you want to break your fast. Okay. When we wake in the morning, we instinctively crave these simple carbohydrates because it raises our energy levels, because our energy is down, we're tired, we're overworked, our sleep wasn't good. We've got a busy day ahead of us. And so that's why breakfast options tend to be sweet. That's why so many of us go for sweet breakfast options. Okay. Please do not fall for the survival mechanism. Trust me when I say you're not starving and you're not dying. Okay. Break your fast with some lemon water, some cool lemon water. That lemon is going to activate the enzymes in your stomach so that your digestive system wakes up and that it's ready to start its processes and start consuming and start absorbing nutrients so that everything you're putting in your body is being used efficiently. Okay, so start with that water, clean, clear water with a bit of lemon juice. Or if you're brave or have stronger taste buds, you could add some apple cider vinegar. That has a whole nother level of incredible health benefits, especially if it's apple cider vinegar with the mother, which is the bacteria that grows it. So now you're looking at adding more probiotics to your system right off the bat. Okay. Now, when you start your breakfast, that's what breakfast means. Okay. Breaking fast, break fast, breakfast. Okay. You are breaking your fasting point. Complex carbohydrates, clean, healthy sources of protein, and healthy fats. Okay. Keep it balanced. We should have 3 macronutrients at our breakfast. We should have a breakfast that's fueling us for the day. And here's why. When you start your breakfast with the wrong food, especially if it's like a refined carbohydrate, so you run out the door with a double if you're here in Canada, and you know what that is. If you're not here in Canada, that's a coffee with 2 sugars, 2 cream. Okay. Now, if you're running out the door with a coffee and you're grabbing a bagel in the drive-thru, that's not the right option. Okay. If you're skipping breakfast, again, that's not the right option. Starting your day with something that is going to fuel you, because you don't want your body to go a long time in that survival mechanism, because that's where you start to make poor choices throughout your day. So if you start yourself with a piece of, or a bowl of cereal, okay, a bowl of just whatever, your favorite cereal, you're not fueling yourself. So your body still is nutritionally hungry. It might be physically full, but it's nutritionally starving. And so your body now tries to counteract that by telling you, you need to eat, you need to eat, you need to eat. You're craving food, you're craving sweets, you're craving different foods, right? And that goes on throughout the day. And so you end up overeating, you indulge, you give into those sugar cravings, and you just don't feel good. You feel sluggish and weird. Brain fog is probably taking over mid-afternoon. It's not a good place to be, right? So start with 3 healthy macronutrients, complex carbohydrates. That's your fruits and your vegetables, some healthy protein, some healthy fats. Okay, those are like nuts and seeds, avocado, salmon, eggs, if you're eating plant or animal-based products. And all of this combined is going to help really stabilize you throughout the day, so you're not getting on that roller coaster. That is not the roller coaster you ever want to be on. Okay, it's not a healthy place to be. Drink water. So we regularly mistake thirst for hunger by misreading our body's signs. So don't eat when your body's thirsty, because this actually disturbs your metabolism and your blood sugar levels. So a couple of ways you can increase your water intake: put some fruits or veggies into it, some herbs, some spices that can really help spice it up so that you don't feel monotonous just drinking the same glass of water all day. Carry a water bottle with you everywhere you go. So crucial if you plan on hitting your water intake marks for the day. And how much should you be drinking? Half your body weight in ounces every single day. For example, if you weigh 150 pounds, you want to be drinking 75 ounces of water. That's roughly 9 cups worth of water every day. Okay. That's going to help keep your body hydrated, especially when you wake up, because you've gone, several hours without having anything to drink. Your body is dehydrated. You need that water. If you're exercising or it's really hot out, increase the amount of water you're drinking. And you'll find that the more water you drink, the less your cravings you're going to have. Okay. So this can really help you start to stabilize that and avoid overeating or misreading your body's signs. And the more water you drink, the more you're going to understand the difference in what your body needs from food versus water. Eat regularly, okay? Extremes in dieting and exercise are an incredibly amazing way to encourage your body to store excess fat, recirculate those excess hormones and toxins, and increase cravings. So please not get into extreme dieting or exercising, because it's not a healthy option. What ends up happening here, you can see in this image. So our stored excess fat protects our organs, right? We talked about that. But what it's also doing is it's providing a space for toxins to live in our body. And so when we diet or we overexercise without proper nutrition, it actually stresses our body, right? And so, yes, we're burning fat, but what's happening is it's exposing our organs to all of those toxins. So we actually feel worse. We're sluggish. We don't have good energy. Our food cravings go through the roof. We're not sleeping well. We just don't feel good, even though we've lost all that excess weight. Okay. And so what happens here is a self-protection mechanism rebound. And this is where our body causes an increase in fat retention and fat production in order to provide a place for the toxins to be so that they're not accessing our organs. So eating regularly can actually help discourage that self-protection mechanism and can actually help you shed those toxins instead. And we're going to talk again about what that looks like soon. But the proper nutrition and proper exercise, proper treatment of your body provides an opposite effect. Okay. So lastly, you want to stabilize your blood sugar levels all day, every day. So what does that mean? We have what's called a zone of willpower. Okay. And in that zone of willpower, this is where we're most likely to make great food choices because our blood sugar levels are stable. We're not in that survival mode where we feel that we need rapid energy. We're in a pretty good position to make sound, conscious decisions and not be ruled by our instinctual habits. Okay. So we're in that zone of willpower. This is the best time for you to start, making your meals, to start looking for a snack before you drop out of your zone of willpower. So generally, we tend to stay in our zone of willpower when we're eating low glycemic foods, and that is things like fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and nuts and seeds, legumes, beans, lentils, that sort of thing. Okay. All of these plant-based nutrition. Okay. Because they're low glycemic. So they have that fiber that stabilizes that blood sugar level and absorption rate of those sugars. Okay. When we eat foods that have put us on that roller coaster, we leave that zone of willpower very quickly. We come back into it, but then we actually drop below it. And when we drop below it, that's where we get those cravings and we instinctually turn to more of that sweet food. So staying in that zone of willpower by eating low glycemic foods, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and plant-based proteins keeps you in that zone of willpower so that you only have to eat every 2 or 3 hours, or maybe every 3. Yeah, basically every 3 hours. You can see here on the chart. Okay. So 2 hours, you're kind of at the top of that, and 3 hours, you're starting to hit the bottom of that zone of willpower. So every 2.5 to 3 hours, you could be having something to eat to keep your blood sugar stable and not fluctuate and get on that roller coaster that's going to throw you off. So things with fiber and healthy fats are going to help balance that for you. Make sure you add some protein in there because that's going to help you feel full so that you don't overeat. Okay. So that means that after you've had your snack or your meal, you're not going to be going back an hour later trying to find something else to eat. So some protein in there helps you feel full. Some fats help you stabilize your blood sugar levels, and some complex carbohydrates are going to keep you in that zone of willpower. Is this all making sense for you guys so far? So I've talked a ton here about plant-based nutrition, about how important that is for our bodies, even in just overcoming how we feel about sugar and how we react to sugar, right? So I want to ask you, do you think that fruits and vegetables are important? Sure, everybody watching right now is saying yes, 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 right? Here, I want to share something with you, okay? How important are fruits and vegetables? Studies show that they can literally change your life. They significantly increase the amount of antioxidants and other nutrients in our blood. They increase levels of key antioxidants in the blood, which allows our body to protect lipids, which are fats, and proteins from oxidization. So what that means is that not only do we have, more antioxidants in our body, but we have key levels or key types of antioxidants that protect the healthy fats in our body. And like our brain is made up of healthy fats, okay? So think about that. So like our food is fueling and protecting and healing our brain. It's literally wrapping this beautiful little bubble on our brain to protect it from toxin damage. Okay. And proteins, that would be like our muscle, our skin, our hair. So you're more likely to have healthier skin, hair, and nails, be feel more fit or have better muscle recovery when you've got these key antioxidants in your bloodstream. And then also studies show that fruits and vegetables decrease the levels of several key biomarkers of inflammation, which means at that systemic level, they are helping to protect and reduce our body or the inflammation within our body. Amazing, right? Amazing. Like we all know fruits and vegetables are good for us, but like, man, oh man, it's incredible. So make sure that you are eating a wide variety of fruits and vegetables. Color your plate. Make sure you have all kinds of colors, all kinds of variety, because they're reducing risk of heart disease and promote healthy eyes and skin, promote our digestive health and our immune health, anti-aging and anti-inflammatory. They lower cholesterol. Like the list is endless what they do for us. And we instinctively know that we need to eat more fruits and veggies. We do, and athletes actually need to eat more. But why so many, right? And we're going to talk about how many servings in a couple of minutes, but why do you think we need so many fruits and vegetables? There's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, produce is picked before its nutrition fully develops because it travels hundreds of kilometers or hundreds of miles to get from farm to table. And many of us don't even get the variety that we need. The food that is grown, it's grown often with a lot of toxins or pesticides and chemicals. And so the quality of the nutrients in that food are not as high as they would be as if, say, you were growing that food in the corner of your house or in your garden with non-GMO, chemical-free seeds and that sort of thing, which the majority of us, we don't have time to do, we don't have knowledge to do, we don't have the desire to do, we don't have the space to do, whatever. We just don't. And so instinctively, we know we need more fruits and vegetables, and yet these are a couple of reasons why we don't, right? So give me your answers in the chat. How many servings of fruits and veggies do you already eat every single day? How many servings of fruits and veggies do you eat every single day? And then I want you to tell me how many colors of fruits and vegetables you eat every day. And I bet if you had to think about it, you're maybe eating 5 or 6 servings of fruits and veggies. You probably have a nice colored variety, maybe 3 or 4. So I'm really excited to see these answers. I'm going to see them when we're done here tonight. If I jump over to Facebook to have a look, you guys are all going to see my Facebook screen too. So I'm not going to change my screen here, but I'm really excited to see this. Now, the reason I ask this is because for optimal health and for that optimal cellular support, we should be eating between 10 and 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every single day of the widest variety. And athletes even more, right? And the majority of us just don't. We just don't. It's too hard. It's too difficult. We don't have the time. We don't have the desire. We don't prepare ahead of time. Like there's always a gap there, right? So what I want to ask you is how much this statement applies to you. 1 being not at all, 10 being absolutely. How much do you agree with this statement? I have a gap in my dietary intake of fruits and vegetables. Are you currently eating 10 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every single day? If you're not, this applies to you. Fact of the matter is, it applies. So put that number down in the comment section for me. I really, really like to see where people think that they are on this scale, because it's always a pretty big eye-opener for most of us, okay? I used to think the same thing. I used to think, oh, I'm getting tons of fruits and vegetables. And then I found I was maybe only getting 3 or 4 servings of fruits and veggies every day. That's not a lot when we consider we need 10 to 13, right? So, but there's always something missing. It's either consistency with it, there's time, knowledge. We don't know how to have that many fruits and vegetables. We don't know how to prepare them. We didn't know that we needed them. We don't have a mindset around eating that many. Maybe we don't like them. We don't like preparing them. We didn't grow up eating fruits and vegetables. Our priorities might be a little bit different. Maybe your job gets in the way of you being able to be consistent with it or committing to it. We're missing key nutrients that would encourage our body to crave those fruits and vegetables. We don't have accountability to hold us, when we say we're going to do something, we don't have somebody pushing us along to say, go do it. And honestly, it seems like a handful. To me, even the idea of trying to eat 10 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day literally feels like a handful. I couldn't do it. I don't have enough space in my stomach and I don't have the time. I'm a busy woman. Like I don't have time to eat that much food. I just don't. So here's the thing. So getting more fruits and vegetables in your diet doesn't have to be a handful. It doesn't have to be that hard. You can bridge the gap in your diet, your consistency, your time, your knowledge, your know-how, your mindset, your priorities, your key nutrients, and your accountability. You can bridge that gap. And it's really simple. Okay. You can bridge the gap with the Juice Plus capsules. Okay. So this is 30 concentrated fruits, veggies, grains, and proteins when we look at the protein powder that is also included. Okay. This is a completely balanced option for you to bridge that gap so that you are getting those nutrients. And here's how and why. Okay. So you can see here, their green capsules contain broccoli, rice bran, lemon peel, cabbage, spinach, kale, beets, garlic, tomatoes, carrots, parsley. I definitely don't eat all that every single day. And I'm a plant-based nutritionist. Fact of the matter is I don't have the time. I just don't. And I honestly don't even know how I could eat all that food every single day. So the capsules help to bridge that gap. Okay. Now, the cool thing about it, earlier I mentioned how I'm a big science nerd, huge numbers girl. I really like the research. The Juice Plus products, the capsules, they have 41 and counting clinical studies at leading hospitals and universities around the world. They're published in peer-reviewed scientific journals, and the research consistently shows that adding Juice Plus capsules to your diet can have positive impact on a variety of health-related issues in the same way that fruits and vegetables, eating them in your diet. So you're bridging that gap. Okay. Now the research shows this is just a handful of the results of the research. Okay. It improves cardiovascular wellness, supports the immune system, improves gum tissue, reduces inflammation. This is something that we know is a problem because of the sugar we consume. It protects our DNA, provides us healthier skin, which, like, honestly, when I gave up refined sugars, my skin cleared up like that. You guys, like, I have never had such beautiful skin before. It's incredible. Okay. Reduces oxidative stress. Again, we know that sugar is a huge contributor to the oxidative stress that our body experiences, increasing the inflammation, increasing the symptoms you experience. And it actually improves our quality of life, our lung health, all of that. So this has all been clinically supported, which is amazing. It's actually the number one researched health brand name nutrition product in the world. That's incredible, which makes me feel as a professional confident in recommending it to anybody. Okay. Now the red capsules, they contain beets, pineapple, cherry, again, more lemon, mangoes, cranberries, dates, oranges, peaches, prunes, and apples. So between the red and the green capsules, you're looking at over 20 fruits and vegetables that we just don't eat every single day and yet contain the highest level of nutrition. Okay. They family farmers who take pride in their seeds, fields, and orchards. So all of the produce is grown with farmers who are directly working with the Juice Plus company in order to have the highest level of nutrition, the cleanest food sources available. And every food is allowed to ripen on the vine, which means they're only harvested at the peak of ripeness. So the nutrition is sealed in a very, very cool process. If you're interested in knowing how that happens, let me know in the comments. Because I can send you a video on that. It is so cool the way they do it. But it's whole food. So what that means is the entire fruit, vegetable, or berry, including the peels, leaves, and seeds, are put into the capsules to include as much of the whole food nutrition as possible. Because, for example, oranges, the peel contains something like 8 times more vitamin C than the orange itself, and yet we don't eat the orange peels, right? The same thing goes for all of fruits and vegetables. There's so much nutrition in the entire food that we just don't eat because we don't consume those parts of the food. And yet all of this is actually ground up into the capsules and provided in that nutrition. Okay. Now, the protein powder is an incredible addition to your nutrition because it is made from food, all food. So cool. Okay. It's vegan, made with non-GMO ingredients. It's gluten and dairy free, which means does not have inflammatory ingredients. 8 grams of fiber, so it is stabilizing your blood sugar level. Okay, it is a low glycemic shake, which is very rare. It's not heard of. So many shakes have high levels of refined sugars. This does not. It's made with broccoli sprouts, radish sprouts, alfalfa sprouts, chickpea powder, millets, quinoa, amaranth, pea protein, rice protein, water wash soy, mushrooms. Like, it is incredible. It is a fuel source. And all of the products are NSF certified, which means that they go through independent testing, that they're clean, that everything on the label is in the product, and everything in the product is on the label. So there is nothing hidden. Everything is wide open for you to see and know that from a third party independent agency, that what you get is what you see, and what you see is what you get. Amazing. Now, the reason I talk about this here is because I live a vegan, whole food, plant-based diet lifestyle. Okay. I don't have the convenience of a whole lot of pre-made foods. I pretty much make everything myself. Okay. This is a product that is clean enough for me to eat, which is amazing because it adds just that little bit of convenience to my lifestyle that I wouldn't otherwise have. It means I can top up my protein. I can add it to a shake. I can make energy bites with it. I can make pudding with it. So when I do get some of those cravings, or, that time of the month rolls around where I want something sweeter, this can really help fill that gap for me without setting me back in my health goals, or, upsetting my stomach, or disrupting my system. And the really cool thing is this actually contains those prebiotic enzymes that support that healthy gut system. So you're still going through the whole process of eating fruits and vegetables, but in a really fun and easy, convenient way. Okay. Now, the reason I mention all of this is because this is the only requirement for you to enroll in the most unique hormone health support program. Okay. So my team and I, we are running a 16-week hormone health support program. It is our Shred 10 program that we have elevated to have a ton of fun in. So week 1, we're going to look at cleaning up your diet. Week 2, cutting out toxins. Week 3, sweat. Week 4, breathe deeper. Week 5, release stress. Week 6 through 9, this is where we dig deep and we ditch that sugar, where we really start to fine tune the process of reducing it, so that you can actually start experiencing and feeling and being in control of what's happening with your body at that systemic level. Okay. Weeks 10 to 13, we look at reducing inflammation. Week 14 to 16, we look at building healthy long-term habits. And then at the end of it, here's the really cool thing, you guys. At the end of it, you can restart and go through it again and again and again. And why is that important? Because life happens. It totally does, right? Like, life gets in the way all the time, and we can have the best intentions going into a program, but when life gets in the way, it can totally throw us off track. So you do not have to worry about missing out on the information, because you can restart at any time, which is so cool, right? Now, those Juice Plus products are the only requirement to enroll. And the reason for that is because I want to make sure that at that cellular level, you are providing your body with what it really truly needs in order to start producing positive results. Okay. So now, if you enroll now, you're going to get a couple of bonuses here. With this order, you will get chewables for any child in your life of the red and the green, which means 20 fruits and vegetables in a delicious chewable for any child in your life. So that means you're bridging the gap in their nutrition while you focus on yours. That's a value of $150. If you enroll now, you're also going to get all of my ebooks that I have created that guide you in your journey. So no matter what your health goals are, no matter where you are in your life, the topics include plant-based eating, family-friendly eating, weight loss, hormone balancing, self-care, recipe books, even lifestyle guidebooks, all of it. All of that. Okay, that's a $1,500 value, guys. These books contain so much that you're going to need in order to help you get where you want to go, regardless of what your goals look like, which is so cool, right? You also get a professionally created fitness and nutrition program valued at over $2,400, where we focus on 10 core concepts of good health. We're going to cover topics like inflammatory foods, cravings, so diving deeper than what we did tonight. Crazy, right? exercise and fitness. So you get fitness videos, exercise routines, all of that, energy, sleep, water, mindset. We look at intermittent fasting in order to start to boost that metabolism, reset those pathways, like we talked about earlier. Fasting properly, breaking your fast properly, eliminating inflammatory aspects in our diet and in our lifestyle. Oh, it's just so much fun, you guys. Okay, so all of that's a total value of over $5,000, and you get it all for just $455. Okay, that's what the cost of this package is. Last week I shared a different package. You can come in with any package, okay, which is really cool. So that's a 16-week program with online support and coaching. 455 Canadian. If you are one of our American friends, that's only $340. If you are an Australian friend, because I know we've got quite a few of them here tonight, or I guess daytime for you guys over there, 594 Australian dollars. And if you're in the UK watching this, that's only 265 pounds, okay? So 4 months healthy living program with hormone health support, resources, and accountability just for that low cost. And here's why, okay? Earlier, we talked about how dieting over exercising creates that rebound effect. This does not. When we focus on this process of those 10 core concepts, including some of that hormone health support, this is what we end up doing. We actually shed fat. We don't burn fat. We shed fat and toxins, okay, which cleanses the body because we're giving the body the nutrients that it needs to succeed at that cellular level. So shedding fat is the results of reduced toxicity. So those toxins are starting to, leave your body. Your body is starting to heal and protect itself from the inside out. And so what happens, instead of rebounding, you actually have this maintenance aspect, or this total transformation where you have better overall health, you have less fat, more muscle, and you do not have the rebound. That's what this program helps you achieve, so that you actually get those results without rebounding backwards. And it's not about restrictions, it's about building healthy habits into your lifestyle, because I am not about fads. Not at all. I am not a fad person. I don't like diets. It's not about counting calories. It's not about weighing your food. It's none of that. It's systematically building healthy habits into your lifestyle over time so that you get the results you want long term, because that's what's most important, okay? So some of the most common results are people craving more fruits and vegetables. Why? Because you're retraining those taste buds at that cellular level. Cool, right? Healthier weight, better recovery, improved sleep, increased energy, increased mental clarity, because now we're supporting our gut system, our brain is working more efficiently, healthier hair, skin, and nails, improved regularity, better digestion. That's amazing, right? Can you imagine how you would feel if you had all of that, or if you had even just half of that every single day? So here's the thing. This program is for you if you're ready to get healthy, if you're ready to support your hormones the natural way, if you're ready to ditch those harmful sugars and learn easy ways to enjoy the helpful ones, those healthy options. If you're wanting to improve your sleep, your energy, your weight, your mental clarity, and you're ready to do what it takes. This is not for you if you're comfortable where you are right now, if you don't want the guidance or support of a hormone health nutritionist, or you don't want to change your life. You have 2 enrollment options if you're ready to get started, okay? You can do this with just you. Now, anybody who comes into this program, you do have an incredible Facebook support group where everybody's doing the same thing you are. Everyone's just on their journey in a different place, okay? So you're not alone. You're just coming into it independently, okay? You have that option. You can take that 455 and divide it by 4 equal payments of 114 Canadian per month. You'll have all of your products delivered at once. There's no payment plan surcharge. It's easier to budget that way. You get access to all of the resources right away, added into the group. Start your goal setting, jumpstart, get things going, okay? Or you have a second option where you can do this with 2 friends. Because why not? It's way more fun when you've got people you know going at this with you, right? Again, still 4 equal, easy monthly payments of 114 Canadian. So you have all the benefits of doing it alone. Plus, it's more fun with friends, and you're actually going to save money because you have 2 friends do this with you. You're going to get a rebate of $240 $41. It's like half the cost right there. You've literally just cut the cost of the program in half just by having a couple of friends do this with you, which is really cool. So what I want to say to you is thank you so much for being here tonight. If you are ready to get started, I want you to comment right now, jumpstart in the comments. And I'm going to reach out to you, or the person who invited you here tonight is going to reach out to you so that we can get you started. We can get your order in. We can get you into the Facebook group, get you set up with the resources, and get going. Start making a difference in your life, okay? And if you're not ready, that's okay too. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you so much for following along with me all the way to the end. I really appreciate you being here. And for that, I want you to say sugar-free in the comments, and I will send you that 3-day sugar-free meal plan over into your inbox just as soon as I've got a couple of minutes. But I am going to head over to the comments section, see if we've got any questions, because now is the time for you to ask them. And thank you again so much for being here tonight.